The team we haven't mentioned yet is Notre Dame. We haven't mentioned them in a lot of our preseason shows. We haven't mentioned them in terms of our top 10 monsters, conference realignment, and not in the surprises. Where do you guys see the Irish both on the field, and then where is their future? Let's reverse it. Adam, we'll start with you. The Irish will look like what on the field? What will be a success for them this year on the field? And then Clint, take us to where you see them in the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, well, we're not at this point yet of our college football playoff, but I mean, I have Notre Dame making the playoff at number 4. I think
playoff is that? Which playoff is
the Division I Power 5 college football playoff.
Oh my!
I have them at number 4. I think number 1, I love Marcus Freeman. I'm all in on Marcus Freeman and what he's doing. I mean, I remember the video of when the players found out Marcus Freeman was their head coach and them just freaking out. Exactly. They have 4 tough games. You know, they got to go to Ohio State, they got to go to BYU, and they go to USC, and have Clemson at home. The thing with Notre Dame, they can lose one of those games and still make the dance, but the rest of their schedule, I mean, they don't play anyone other than those 4 teams. So I think it's a tough schedule, but other than those 4, they got a chance to to get healthy in between the big games there. I think Tyler Buckner's a good quarterback. He's he can make plays when the play breaks down. I saw some stat in high school his senior year, he had like 55 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. I mean, if he can take care of the football, as you guys know, George, as a young quarterback, you got to be able to take care of the football. That's the number one thing. Sure. He's got a great cast around him. Michael Mayer, maybe the best tight end in the country or the second best after Brock Bowers. They brought in Brandon Joseph, the transfer safety from Northwestern, which I think is what that defense needed. So I love Notre Dame. I think when you look at that 4 spot in the playoff, I was back and forth a little bit. Clemson, Notre Dame, some of it, but I think Notre Dame can run the table and have one loss and make the playoff. They got to beat USC to end the season. That's going to be the big game, and I think that game is going to have some major implications for the college football playoff if USC does what I think they're going to do.
Clint, can we just start from that point? Is Notre Dame is their track toward the playoff? Are they on track right now for the college football playoff?
They're as close right now as they're going to be to the college football playoffs, ranked number 5 preseason. I mean, look, you said it, George. What'd you tell me about Brian Kelly at LSU? One of the best in the game, right? They lost the top 3 coach any way you slice it. I like Freeman. I'd like to kick it with Freeman. Hell, I'd like to play with Freeman. I have no idea what the hell he's going to do as a head coach. The one sample size we have, which just may be a little bit unfair, right? A defensive-minded head coach took over last year for the bowl game versus Oklahoma State, and they had an epic fail in the second half, and Oklahoma State came back and won that football game. And so they got a lot of returning starters. I get that. I think their schedule is more difficult this year than it was last year. And if we're being completely honest with ourselves, last year, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, they played 3 ranked teams in 2021 and lost 2 of those ball games, Cincinnati and Oklahoma State, I believe. Wisconsin was their best win, and that was a 4-loss Wisconsin team. And so I don't know that they weren't overrated last year, to be completely honest. They've lost what most believe is the top 3 head coach in all of college football. They don't have a quarterback that's proven.
That's true.
And Adam, you may know better than me, brother, but what I've read up on these guys, their best option at quarterback is a guy that they're not real sure can sit in the pocket and distribute the football accurately. They know he's an athlete. They know he's got a high ceiling, but can he play at the level from the pocket necessary to win football games at a national championship level? This all may come to fruition. It may happen. But I'm telling you right now, I'm not comfortable saying, boy, that's Notre Dame now. Brian Kelly left that he left that cupboard full now. They got 15 starters. I sure like Freeman. Yeah. Not if we're talking national title. I think it's a great transition, great hire. I think they'll be fine. But college football playoffs, Adam, you done lost your damn mind, brother.
They got to have a lot of things go right. First of all, that is 4 heavyweight matchups, and it starts with going to the shoe. Like, I think they'll be competitive. I don't think they'll get within arm's reach of Ohio State, but this won't be no first-round knockout. Clemson, BYU, like USC, I only think they're better than BYU. Do they have enough firepower on the outside, first of all? And then the quarterback, really, that should be a fluid discussion for those of us not inside the building. So first of all, Tyler Buckner, his school is about 1.5 miles from where I'm sitting. So I had a chance to watch him, know him as he was here. He's growing up, and he was a man amongst boys. Looked like an 8th grader playing 5th graders, smaller division, talented kid. He transferred to Reggie Bush's old high school, Helix High School, so he could play with the big boys. COVID in California canceled his season, so he went on up to Notre Dame without really playing a senior season. He'll be fine, but does he pass consistently enough? And right now, it still remains to be that still remains a big question. The youngster they have back there that they're probably not eager to get in until he's in there is Drew Pine from Connecticut. Drew Pine, imagine even smaller Baker Mayfield, fiery, gamer, plays with urgency, throws with consistency and anticipation. Go back. He made a couple cameos last year, and he could spark these guys. He was in that Cincinnati game. They're going to have some things to figure out, but I do like where we are with Notre Dame as a contender, but I just don't see them kind of punching up. Teams like that, do you have the ability to really go get somebody bigger than you? That's going to be a question, but the Freeman factor is real.